is real life. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead Weekly number 98. We have a lot to talk about today with the Q&As. We got the patch 7.1 date. We have a bunch of merchandise stuff, BlizzCon stuff. But before we talk about all that, I first want to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead site manager, Perculia.
Hey everyone, we keep having all this Legion news hit. Earlier today we learned that 7.1 is October 25th, and then we got the BlizzCon schedule, and then Tom Chilton announced he was moving to a different Blizzard game, and we got even more merchandise besides Ninja Pepe, so there's been a lot of stuff going on.
There has. I can't believe 7.1 is so soon.
I know, it's less than 2 weeks.
That's insane.
That's very busy.
That's insane. It feels like everything this expansion has gone on pretty quick, though. I mean, we talked a little bit about in past weeks about how quick the Mythic race was, but even like, I don't know, like I thought a lot of people are getting ahead of the curve a lot sooner than I felt like they were getting in like last year.
Yeah, it feels like even with World Quest or Reputations or like Nightfall, and it seemed insurmountable at first. Now it's like, oh, like it's going along faster with the holidays and whatnot. How there are like these finite things you can do and people sort of progressing to the end of all of them as opposed to having very elaborate mount or, pet or different rep grinds.
I agree / disagree, because I was talking to my guildies about this last night, and like, yes, there is a certain point now where people don't feel the same necessity to keep grinding out Mythic Pluses and to keep grinding out World Quests, but
I think that's okay.
Feel like so that in that sense I feel like that finite, like, is there much more to improve in that sense is kind of hitting, but there's still so much to do that's not that I still feel like there's more that I want to do in the game than I have time to do, and that's, in my opinion, where a game should always strive to be. You don't want to...
The one criticism I'd have is that it seems like a lot of the stuff you can do, like, it's very measured amounts you can do each day, and like, sometimes you just want to grind rep for 4 hours or like open a bunch of treasures and get all the toys, and you can't sort of play in that. You can't really like binge on playing WoW. You sort of have to do your few world quests every day, or like make sure you your artifact knowledge. But it seems like it could be a little more freeform, especially because they made the rare spawns and treasures less. But that's sort of a minor.
I feel like it depends on what exactly you're trying to do. As far as rep grinding, obviously yes. Like I feel like, especially with like Suramar, like Nightfall and rep, you're limited as to what you can do each day. But with things like fishing, it feels like you could just spend forever fishing, or like even like gathering artifact power. You could just endlessly grind artifact power just by doing
yeah, but that's like, I have to do this for my gear. Like it's not sort of been like, I'm just like exploring the world for fun mindset. Should we talk about this part of the notes first and do learning later?
I suppose.
Anyway, Karazhan is October 25th, if you weren't sure why we were all talking about it, and Trial of Valor is after BlizzCon on November 8th.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that is too soon. I really, it's too soon. Like it's not too soon, right? It's like I just said, I feel like it's a delicate balance for any game to find a place where people feel like there's still stuff to do, without feeling like they haven't completed things as well. Like I think that part of the timing issue in Warlords of Draenor, like for instance, like my guild was 1 out of 7 mythic when Blackrock Foundry came out. Then we were
6.1 was that selfie camera patch, so it's like, okay, like, why is this being advertised as a patch? And obviously 7.1 has a lot more.
Yeah.
It's interesting to compare it to Mist, because Mist, I think, was around the same time, like 2 months after the expansion came out, and there were things like the Crassering Wilds reputation. So it's interesting to compare, because a lot of people thought that Mist had content that was too soon at the front of the expansion. And it's like, well, this is around the same time, and there's like even a new mini raid and a similar like quest to what Mist had. So like I think that like the player base has changed. So while like people like, if they expect you to just do LFR and like finish it, or like
I feel like Emerald Nightmare is not a particularly difficult raid. Like if you
I feel like everything is accelerated in Legion versus Mists.
Yes, so it's like I guess it's okay if the content is coming out soon if we've completed the previous content, and I hope that when they're determining when these patches should come out, they're looking at like, okay, X percentage of people are raiding, and of that percentage of people who are rating this many of those people have completed the content on X difficulty.
Right. And also people outside of raiders too, because, I've seen Twitter, they have a lot of different opinions. Some people are saying, they finished doing their raids and they want to move on to the next thing. And other people are saying they like, collecting things, or they want to do all these, other interesting things in the game, and they feel like very overwhelmed. So I think messaging will be important, because you don't want people to feel like they only have time to hit up, like, 2 or 3 main things in an expansion, and then they have to move on to the next one, and cool, like smaller, things get lost on the wayside. I
actually feel like with October 25th being so soon, that gives me like a tiny bit of anxiety, right? Because I know that like prior to Nighthold coming out, we're going to get the whole Suramar quest line, and I haven't actually unlocked, what is it, Arcway? Is that the one that is unlocked through Suramar Red?
That's actually not part of it. Those are optional ones. You can get the Suramar achievement criteria done when you complete the quest that then sends you to the dungeon. So you don't need to do that.
I think right now, I want to say it's like, is there 11 chapters? I think I'm 4 out of 11 or 5 out of 11 completed, but then like, I'm the worst. I went and like started a quest and then got distracted, and then like, so I've got like half started quest lines all over Suramar, so at some point I'm going to have to deal with that mess that I made. I'm hoping that maybe I'll have some time this weekend to get a bunch of Suramar questing done, because I really enjoy questing in Suramar. It's a lot of fun. It's such a pretty zone.
It's really pretty.
It's really,
and like once you get used to when you get used to the patrols and you start getting better gear, then suddenly going around the city isn't as terrifying.
It's not that. My biggest issue is that Ghost Wolf breaks the costume, but then like your mounts don't, and I just habitually.
I think they're changing that in 7.1 actually.
Oh, thank God, because I like it's just what I do, right? Like I have to run Ghost Wolf. Like it's bound to like my middle mouse button, so it's just I do it. It's muscle memory. It's bound. Any character that I have that has a movement, so like my mage is Blink, or my hunter is the goblin, so she has the rocket jump. Anything that's a movement thing, I have on my middle mouse button, and if I am in trouble and I'm running, it's like second nature. I can't even help it. And by the time I've done it, then all of a sudden I've aggroed 16 guards, and I'm frantically looking for a basket to jump into. But yeah, so I'm excited that they're changing that. But I really want to get caught up on Suramar, because if things are coming out this rapidly, I want to make sure that I'm ready.
Yeah, plus it's a really fun quest line as well. You get to see all of the elf leaders interact, and Khadgar and Akuleth are like best bros, and you have all this elven girl power. So
wait, speaking of elven idiots, how about Withered Jim this week?
Oh, yeah. So he's back. Why is he back?
Oh my God, why is he back ever? Our raid is using like the battle cry of like, we hate Jim. Like, I'm not kidding. He's the worst. It's the worst boss ever. Whoever invented him, like, maybe that's why Tom Chilton's getting moved to a different department.
I think last week Muffiness actually had a series of tweets explaining how Jim was created. And this is in the notes, but he said that, so on the beta, they populated that island with a bunch of temp name elites NPCs to see what would look good on, just like the atmosphere and habitat and the lighting. And the Withered NPC they put there as a test one was Withered Jim, and they put 10 of them spawned in a clump outside Vault of the Wardens, and that they found out that he was one of the deadliest NPCs, and he was just killing everyone. So...
I mean, so same then.
He was... Yes. So
no
he became a boss.
Oh my God. That was like the most frustrating. Like the first time I did that, it was like we had like, I don't know, I want to say we had like 5 or 10 minutes till raid started. And I was like, oh, we'll just do the world boss really quick.
Yeah, like maybe that's why he's not part of the artifact appearance achievement, because it's like, oh, this guy is way worse.
He's the worst. He's so stupid. Anyways,
I know.
Didn't mean to get off topic. That was actually an accident, though. If you guys did Withered Jim this week, he wasn't supposed to be the boss this week.
Right.
He just infiltrated his way in, and we just can't get rid of him. He's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so skipping around a little bit in the notes, do you want to talk a little bit more about 7.1, or do you want to go back and talk about time walking, and then we'll come back to 7.1?
Yeah, we can talk. We can get the 7.1 stuff out of the way. So just to reiterate, Trial of Valor is the week after BlizzCon. Mm-hmm. This is because a lot of people are, traveling, like us.
Well, not only that, but you have to think a lot of those developers are going to be at BlizzCon.
Right. So they're at Blizzard, and then all the high-end players that would be racing, a lot of them go to BlizzCon. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Absolutely. I'm really glad they waited to do that. But Karazhan will be out October 25th, which is the week before BlizzCon. It's only like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks from now. I can't believe how soon that is.
Days.
I'm really excited for that. I'm super, super excited for that. I've heard that even like a good group, it's expected to take like 7 or 8 hours. Like you had told me that someone was in a pug for like 8 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's because it was like the first day it was open, and a lot of the people that are super geared aren't really testing Karazhan because you know it's just like only Mythic. There's no Keystone, so it's like
it's
okay,
supposed to be pretty hard, man.
So yeah, I mean, I think it probably will not take as long, but it is 8 bosses, 1 optional one, so it is going to be longer than your regular dungeon.
Yeah, for sure. And it's such a huge place too. It's not like they're just like in a line, like bam, 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 8 bosses. Like you're exploring. You have a castle to go around. A part of it is all warped and upside down. Things are bad. Things are bad in Karazhan. Things could be better. But I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's too soon. I think I am somebody who has had much less time to play this expansion than I have in previous expansions. So I feel like I'm desperately trying to like catch up to my friends, and I'm not getting there. But
I also feel that, I mean, just looking at player trends and seeing, what guides are popular on each day, that, you have more casual players than before, and they're not hitting up, like every toy, every mount, every pet, every quest. And with the general progression of casual players, some of them, they actually do want something new now, just like them being like, oh, like what's the Suramar traffic 2 weeks ago versus the Suramar traffic now, or like what's the traffic on the Mythic Dungeon Guide last week versus now, or raid bosses. So it does seem like it's also interesting because like 7 point, it's going to be staggered, like it's just the dungeon on the 20th, and then the raid's a few weeks later. So I feel like Blizzard has been trying to do this thing where every few weeks they add something to get people's interest, get them like logging on
more. Like when they added world bosses.
Yeah, and then it was like, like how they staggered LFR, and then like the world events, how they have new quests then in Warlords, or there was like a holiday, like, Brewfest had new items. So I feel like they're trying to have something cool every Tuesday. Yeah. And just like I said, looking at player behavior on the site, it is different than past expansions. And I do think that there are some people that like they want the new big flashy thing. Like they want to see Emerald Nightmare once, and they want to go see Karazhan.
Weird. So, that's a weird way to play the game. Thank you so much for subscribing using Twitch Prime, by the way. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Also, if you haven't checked out Twitch in a while, I know we only do a show once a week, but if you are an Amazon Prime member and you have not hooked up your Twitch account, you can do that, and you can actually subscribe to us for free if you have Twitch Prime. Or Amazon Prime, rather, gives you a Twitch Prime subscription that you can choose to subscribe to whoever you want. And right now we have, I think, 4 emotes, and we're getting 2 more. We're just deciding what we want, and that's really difficult for us. So
we should ask Discord and see if anyone has any feedback.
Oh, we're working on it, man. It's the problem with asking for feedback is that
I know everyone wants something
or way too much. There's no like in between. You're either getting like so much more than you need or way more than you need. But I think it's really interesting to hear that this expansion has had such a different trend than previous expansions, and it makes me wonder why. I wonder if it's because it's returning players. I wonder if it's like a whole new group of players that are approaching the game at a different way.
I think the systems are designed differently as well. Like people were very panicky about garrison abilities and how they all worked in Warlords, and like obsessing about the perfect followers, and now it's like, oh, like it's more common sense, or like, oh, the world quest has this item, like it's 40 eye levels better than mine, like I'll go do it. Like it's that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Yeah. There's also in a way there's a lot more in my opinion accessible casual content, because they are making things like pet battles. You can get things that are not pet battle related as rewards for those quests, and with the cooking quests, and I don't know, the way that it all works now, it just seems like there's a better balance for players who are playing casually compared to players that are only logging on.
But then if you are playing casually, like, you might not care about getting exalted with Suramar. You might be like, oh, this is cool, I played in it for a few weeks, so Blizzard has to keep adding these hooks to get people to, like, be more invested in the content versus being like, oh, I hit level 110, like, I've seen all the zones, this is nice. Like, they have to keep adding stuff to keep you returning. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now there's also some PvP stuff going on in 7.1, correct?
So, so in the Q&A today, Ian said that the PTR was pretty much in good shape, but actually, we still got some new stuff this week, and we got a bunch of achievements related to new prestige ranks that will be coming in the next season. I'm not sure if this season is coming like in 2 weeks, but they're prepping the data for the next round of prestige.
Yeah.
And there's a new achievement that rewards players for doing the PvP World Quest, which I think is a good thing because it rewards a mount, and it's a black and silver recolor of the traditional rated Battlegrounds mount. And it just adds an extra incentive to do the World Quest because, right now they just have sort of generic-ish rewards, and they are actually kind of fun. Like, you have to ride goats around and do arena stuff, so...
I actually love in Blackrook Hold, there's, like, the Blackrook Rumble quest.
But yeah,
that is the funnest PvP world quest of all time. Like, you just keep jumping down, and if you die, you just res in, like, 10 seconds, and you jump back down, and you do it again. That's a really, 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 really fun world quest. Those are the images that I have up on the screen right now are the mounts that you can get. They're the prestigious War Wolf and the prestigious War Steed. Obviously, they are Horde and Alliance locked. So if you're Alliance, you're getting that horse, and if you are Horde, you're getting the wolf.
And this also reminds me of Blizzard talking about how they have these systems which are evergreen, and they can keep adding rewards and incentives to things like World Quest. At first, you wanted to do the PvP quest because they had artifact power or gear, and maybe you don't need them as much now, but it's like, oh, if you do a bunch of World Quests, you get a special mount. And they're taking the existing content and adding some rewards onto it, which seems less time and resource, draining than creating a new, battleground or something.
Well, that's also something that I had said, not that they're taking my suggestions by any means, but that's something I said about Warlords of Draenor, was that it wasn't that there was nothing to do, it's that there was nothing rewarding to do.
Right.
And if they had just tweaked some of the rewards of some of the things that they did, I feel like people would have been a lot happier. Like, particularly with, like, the Apexis Crystal quests.
Right.
And,
like, add, like, a new layer for doing the Apexis quest, besides, like, the gear is now 10 eye levels higher.
The gear is now blue and crappy. Would you like something else? Yes, I would. I think it's cool that, they are updating it in that way, because that's a much more intuitive way to change the game than to just try to keep adding and adding and adding. I think anytime that you can reuse and recycle content in a meaningful way, like, why wouldn't you do that?
Especially because those quests, like I mentioned, they're fun. Like, you like the Rumble one, and I like the thing where you jump around on the goats, and
I'm not sure I've done the goat one yet.
It's in Stormheim. It's like in the northern part of Stormheim.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until 7.1 now. I'm gonna wait until 7.1 now, but I think it's cool that those are the types of rewards they'll be adding, and these mounts are very cool too. They look really, really, like, dark and kind of badass, and excuse my rough language, but they look really cool. What else is going on right now?
We should go back up to time walking, because that's happening actually right now.
Yes, so the world events are back in World of Warcraft. If you didn't know, I think we're on week 3 of world events.
Yep. And next week's the Battleground, but this time it's Burning Crusade time walking, which is always really
time
popular.
Walking, which we, if you're watching the VOD of this, you didn't see it, but Perk and I had a discussion a few minutes ago about what level you could start doing Burning Crusade time walking. Burning Crusade time walking has been out for, like, over a year, and I genuinely thought that you could start doing that at, like, 58, 59. No, it's 71. It is 71. So today I learned. But, of course, there are 6 time walking dungeons that you can do with Burning Crusade time walking, and all of your gear is scaled down to Burning Crusade levels. If you are level 110, the rewards start at 820, and then they can be Warforged or Titan Forged and go up from there, depending on how lucky you are. And then those badges that you get for completing time walking, you can use them at the vendor to buy gear, which starts at level 805.
Yep, and there's also a new holiday quest, and if you, in Worlds of Draenor, you did the 5 dungeons, and you got the Hellfire Citadel loot, but now you get a quest that has an artifact power item, a bonus roll seal, and an Emerald Nightmare item. Yeah. So you can pick that up by Archmage Tymir by the Violet Hold dungeon in Dalaran.
Yep, which I still, to this day, I think that's the cutest throwback thus far.
I know how it used to be.
It's so reminiscent, like going there to get your rerolls and stuff.
Yeah,
I really like that. Also keep in mind that you can still get the other mounts that are affiliated. So this Dragonhawk mount that's appearing where Perk is, and the Infinite Drake where I am. The Dragonhawk mount you can buy during Burning Crusade time walking for the badges that you get during any of the time walkings, and the Infinite Drake has a chance, or the Infinite Time Reaver rather, has a chance to drop off of any boss in time walking. So those are 2 pretty cool mounts that you can get. There's also one for Wrath of the Lich King time walking that's like this really cool, like, war steed who's sort of dead and cagey. I don't know. He looks very edgy.
Very Death Knight.
Very, very edgy. So that's what's going on there. As far as general news goes, we kind of mentioned a couple of these things, but Tom Chilton has stepped down as the World of Warcraft game director, but he's not going to another company. He's just moving to another game within Blizzard, although they did not specify which game, which leaves me very suspicious because what game? Where's he going? Is it Overwatch? Is it a different game? Is there a new game? Is it the Diablo expansion that was leaked and nobody cares?
I mean, just looking back at his announcement again, it was...
He said he was going down the hall, which makes me feel like it was Hearthstone.
And it's with a mix of excitement, sadness, and gratitude that I'm saying farewell to the WoW team and moving on to a new adventure within Blizzard. So, I mean,
my god, maybe he's getting Chris Metzen's job. Oh my god, no, he can't be Chris Metzen. I'm sorry, Tom Chilton, you can't be Chris Metzen.
I don't think
if he comes out on stage and says, "Geek is," I'm done. I'm done.
I don't think anyone else is going to fulfill the Geek is role.
Geek is. So funny. But yeah, so he is not leaving Blizzard. He's just moving on to another Blizzard project, which I'm excited to see what it is.
That happens a lot. Like, for example,
they
like the Hearthstone team came from WoW. Like, like Ben Brode and other Hearthstone developers, they have items named after them, from Classic, Burning Crusade drops. Like, there's a lot of movement around between Blizzard, so
thank you so much for subscribing to us. We appreciate that.
Yay.
No, he's not. I don't think he's being named like the new Chris Metzen. That was sort of just a joke. As far as who the new Tom Chilton is, though, it's Ian Hazacostas. He is moving up to fill the position of World of Warcraft game director, so we're seeing a little bit of shuffling here and there. I'm excited to see where Tom Chilton is going and what he's going to be doing from here. Makes me wonder what's going. It's just the whole Blizzard project, with BlizzCon coming up. I'm just highly suspicious of everything. I'm gonna hold on.
We'll
to
see
all of
soon
this.
enough when Tom Chilton is like, I am introducing and moderating the X panel. No, I just
Geek is. Oh my goodness. If you guys, so in case you don't know that reference and you think I'm crazy, a couple years ago at BlizzCon, Chris Metzen did his opening speech, and he literally was just like, geek is being powerful with your friends. Geek is being creative and loving yourself. Geek is, it was this whole compilation. It's the most Chris Metzen quote of all time. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what both of them do in their new positions. Also,
I think it's cool how Ian's been doing a lot of the Q&As. Yeah. He did the one earlier today, and then he did one in September, and then he did the kickoff Legion beta one. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's cool if he wants to do these regular types of Q&As and checking in with the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
One other thing related to the Q&A, a lot of the questions are not about 7.1. They just were tell me about the reasoning, for my class, or re-explain artifact knowledge. So it definitely seems like there is a need for the developers and and the designers to be just sort of explaining how things are unfolding on live servers, and it's not this is boring. People are I actually really want to know about, higher end artifact knowledge versus lower. So that was interesting.
I saw Laura talking about that, and Laura was like, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I was fantastic. I was going to say, I actually really respect when Ian Hazacostas does Q&As, because I feel of all the people who do Q&As, he is the 100% most candid person.
He said a few times, he was one of the regrets is that Mythic Xavius was undertuned. And, another regret was that secondary stats are too powerful and, item level should be king, and it's not.
Sounds versatility for monks is ridiculous right now. But, I'll never, my opinion of him was really formed when we interviewed him back in Warlords about 6.2. And he straight up was 6.1 should have never been called a content patch. And I'm really sorry that that's how it was represented to the community. And me and you were just
yeah, and then he's I remember he's like, I cannot tell you about Pepe. That is the one thing I cannot talk about.
Oh my god, that was a great interview. But I do really appreciate how candid he is, and I feel for a long time there's been this kind of gap in the community, kind of where Ghostcrawler left. And I don't mean to throw it back that far, but Ghostcrawler was a big face and a big name in the community, and someone who did a lot of talking to people and players. And I feel in recent times we've seen Ian sort of stepping up and filling. Yeah,
which is cool. He's very verbose on forum posts. His posts are always really fun to read. They have a lot of humor, and he explains things a lot. So
it takes
it's
a
cool that he
special
can just talk about
personality
them
to
now.
reply to forum posts.
Yeah.
One which which I do not possess. So yeah, I think he's going to do a great job, and I'm excited to see what happens from here. We just briefly talked about Withered Jim in case you missed that.
And the hotfix is very cool. So
Yep.
The emissary rewards, you probably don't love them because they were sort of a letdown, like they're a lower item level than your other stuff you're getting, but they hotfix them to be more in line with the world quest rewards you are getting. So you shouldn't get your 805 Warden's Pendant of Bad after you get your 840 epics from other ones.
Friggin' reminds me, do you know how I always tell you that my idiot husband is the luckiest person in World of Warcraft?
What happened?
He got a legendary out of his second emissary bag
Oh
ever.
no.
Big idiot. Ooh. So you're like, oh, it's hotfixed because the rewards are bad. What's he gonna get for now?
Like the non-legendary
Oh,
ones.
yeah, I get nothing. I joke about that all the time. I'll see my guildies and they'll be like, oh, I got this crazy Titan Forge procced and piece of gold, and I'm like, mine's somehow level 142. I don't even know how that's possible. But that's how bad the piece of gear I just got was. So I just like doing my emissary quests because you get rep and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. It tricks me. I just feel like I have to do it because there's these exclamation points.
The box.
I like the box. I need to do it. I always do the no matter what. I try not to miss any of them, but the Dalaran one is always my top priority because I need floating Khadgar so bad.
Yes.
I need that I need air. So, okay, moving forward, do you want to talk a little bit about the dungeon race?
Yeah, so this is actually pretty interesting. This is, I think, the usually at conventions, Blizzard will have top guilds do a few races against each other, but they're actually putting this on a really large scale, which is exciting. It's the first kind of organized PvE esports dungeon event, which is pretty cool. So TESPA is announcing the Great Collegiate Dungeon Race, and on November 8th, there is a 6-week crusade of mythic Keystone dungeon races between teams competing for a share of $20,000 in scholarship prizing. And there will be 3 rounds where each team will race through first a level 6 dungeon, and then phase 2 it's level 8, and then in phase 3 it's the best of 3 contest for mythic level 10. And those matches will be broadcast live. So I think that's pretty cool for a few reasons. One is that people always say that the WoW player base is getting older, and this can get, some more college age, people hooked on it.
Absolutely.
I feel so old. I started playing in college, so I'm sort of these people can play now.
Good old days 10 years ago.
Yeah. It's cool that they're trying to finally do something for PvE after, we've had the PvP arena tournaments for a while, and EU regionals and US regionals. So it's cool that PvE has gotten some representation, especially because Blizzard has said they wanted dungeons to have more of a life in Legion.
Yeah,
so we'll
and
see.
They definitely have. There is no denying that dungeons are vastly more important in Legion than they've been in years.
Yeah.
So my guild right now has 2 groups. One group is for people who have lots of time to play WoW and they just spam mythic dungeons, and the other group is people who have less time to play and most of their gear is coming from raid and stuff. And it's shocking how good the gear is that people get out of Mythic plus 9, Mythic plus 10. It's so good. Yeah. It's better than what you can get out of raid. The reason that group is more they're slightly more coordinated, but they're also so well geared from doing tons and tons of Mythic dungeons. So Mythic plus dungeons rather. So yeah, I definitely think that they succeeded in that fact, especially being that in this next big patch we're getting a new dungeon, and that was a huge complaint in Warlords of Draenor. We didn't get any new dungeons the whole expansion. What in the world?
Yep.
So strange. In Wrath of the Lich King we had that wave of dungeons that came with ICC, and in Cataclysm we got ZA and ZG, and it was so bizarre.
Right, even the 5-man with tier 9 Trial of the Crusader. We had a lot.
Yeah. I love, I mean, if they're looking at Wrath to see what people liked about Wrath, I feel a lot of good Wrath qualities have been injected into Legion. But I also am seeing things from, Burning Crusade, and even things that worked really well in Mists of Pandaria. It's they took things that worked well from every expansion and just put them in a pot and let them simmer for a little while. and things are going pretty well. I mean, I still feel very motivated to log on and do things. It's not just I play WoW, so I'm getting on WoW. I feel I have to get on, I have to see what my emissary is, I need to see what cooking recipes I'm working on, I need to go herb here
it's all
and
burnt
fish
food.
here. It's all burnt. Yeah, it's all...
Yes.
Well, soon it might be
it's World Egg Day, And the Warcraft tweeted something like, "Oh, here's an egg." He's like, "How do you think Nomi will cook it?" And everyone's like, "Burnt egg."
Yeah, burnt egg for sure.
Yes.
You know what? I have a funny story about that. So, when Mists of Pandaria came out, I stayed up all night so that I could play, and I realized at one point, like, oh my goodness, I haven't eaten in like 18 hours. Like this, I need to get up and eat. And so I was like, oh, I'll just make some eggs, right? Burnt the crap out of them. Like so, like burnt eggs actually are a thing that I associate with World of Warcraft. Because I had to eat a plate of burnt eggs. What else are you going to eat at that point? Listen, I had World of Warcraft to play. Anyways, the BlizzCon schedule.
Yeah, very exciting.
I know.
BlizzCon.
Those eggs, so exciting. The BlizzCon schedule and floor plan have been released. I'm so flipping excited. This is what it's going to look like this year, which is actually very different than past years.
Yeah, so the biggest difference is that the Darkmoon Fair and like the creative stage and community areas, that's its own floor now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that used to be a hall and now it's just its own floor. Like that is huge.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother I'm interested to see how this is gonna work because I know level 2 is usually where they do like press and stuff like that. So I wonder how they're gonna have it accessed so that people get past it. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
because I'm looking at yeah, that will be interesting.
It is.
But,
having been at the Anaheim Convention Center a lot, I'm interested to see how they handle that type of floor traffic. But that means we've gained a whole mess of space, which is crazy because
plus last year was the first year they moved the Blizzard store into its own hall.
Yeah, it's like in the basement.
Yeah, so they have 5 halls now and then a full extra level.
Yeah, that's so much. That's so much. I'm really, really excited to see. It looks like they're doing a lot of esports stuff. It looks like that's a huge focus.
Like Overwatch Arena is this gigantic stage.
That's half a hall. That's enormous. Yeah. That is huge.
That's huge. Half of Hall A, B, and C are all esports.
Yeah. And then all of StarCraft, that whole area is going to be esports as well.
The one thing I'm worried about, so just to run
Diablo.
down... I know. I wanted to run through the Warcraft panels and then just an observation.
Sure.
So they have like a Legion What's Next panel. So I don't know if that means we're getting 7.2 stuff or like a rehash of Trial of Valor. They have something talking about like class fantasy and champions. They have the usual Q&A. They have one on in-game cinematics and cutscenes, which will be very sad because they're doing, the Broken Shore cinematics. Perspective on that.
Yeah.
They're doing a design retrospective on Legion's launch, and then there are some other panels on like level design, which brings me to my next point, which is that it felt very crowded last year where a bunch of panels were going on at the same time, and now we have all this esports stuff. Plus, they've made the voice actor stage and creative collective stage its own separate robust area by the Darkmoon Fair. And those panels were not streamed last year, so it just feels like how can you be in like 3 places at once?
Right.
You don't want to miss the Legion class panel, but it's like it's actually really cool if I went to the art panel that's not going to be streamed. Like this is my one chance to see it. So
yeah, well that was like last year they had the Warcraft movie press conference at the same time as the Warcraft Q&A, and we were just like what do we do? Like, what?
Yeah.
What do we do? I don't know what to do.
I had the idea that maybe BlizzCon should be 3 days or just have like one day that's all esports or like one day that's all social, just because like you can't even see everything in person. And if you're home with the virtual ticket, you missed out on a lot of the panels that they just keep adding.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. As far as that, I worry about this when I look at it because like, if you just look at the areas, like there's no, World of Warcraft's obviously like sharing a stage with Heroes of the Storm, but like if you look at even like the sizes of those areas, like I'm so surprised at what a small space World of Warcraft is getting. And
even the demo area, because the Heroes demo area seems to be a bigger rectangle than the Warcraft.
Well, that pretty much just tells you that Warcraft isn't getting anything that's going to be like new and exciting and playable. Like that if you just look at this map, right? Like you can see like Overwatch has the biggest amount of play space, so probably going to be a pretty decent. I don't think we'll get like an Overwatch expansion or anything like that.
I think with Hearthstone Hearthstone would make sense because we get them so frequently. And
what's weird about that is like I feel like they should have combined the Hearthstone gaming area with like the Hearthstone Tavern or something. I'm just really surprised at how I feel bad for Diablo.
Maybe the Tavern I don't know if there's like food and drink restrictions, but like maybe there's alcohol at the tavern that has to be like
that's a
separate.
That's a solid
I
point.
mean, it does make sense how like the Dark Moon Fair and the tavern areas are the super thematic, props, stagey like areas, and how they're all together. Like you feel like you're walking into Azeroth in that area.
So I guess I'm particularly bummed because again, I made my video before this map was released. And
right, and you thought it was Diablo because there was
I
a t-shirt
definitely
with
thought
the
the timing is good for Diablo. They've been kind of like hinting at stuff for a while, and then like I can't believe that t-shirt would just be called Diablo 3 Realms of Evil, the t-shirt. Like, it just seems so weird. I just really thought that we were going to get a big Diablo announcement. I can't imagine that that's the case with a booth that's this big.
You never know. Like, maybe you'll walk in and it'll be like the Overwatch. Half of the Overwatch stage is covered in some gigantic, blanket. And it's like, oh, surprise! Or actually something else.
I would love for them to pull a fast. I was talking to someone about that recently, how Blizzard likes to do that. Like, remember the whole Dark Below? That everybody was like, oh, the Dark Below. Yeah. Blizzard likes to do this thing where they copyright names of things like 4 years before they're ever going to use them. So that when BlizzCon and stuff is coming up, like
Wasn't the Dark Below like Destiny?
It had nothing to do with... Well, it was like... I don't even remember. I don't even remember what ended up happening. Nothing relevant to us, clearly. Right. But yeah, I'm excited to see, what is coming because I feel like the amount of like leaked stuff is just very minimal. Like it's just very like I don't really have any clue going in. I know that there's been some data mine stuff in Overwatch, but a lot of that could be holiday stuff that's not super like initially exciting right now. But anyways, I'm excited for BlizzCon. I am excited that the Dark Moon Fair has its own space. Just more space in general is always good. Are they selling the same amount of tickets? Do we know that?
Yep.
Oh, that's good because that just means we're just getting more space in general then.
Yeah.
Anytime that they expand con floors, I'm into it. Although BlizzCon's a pretty nice con in terms of crowding anyways. It's not bad. Tisn't bad. Oh,
merchandise. I'm very excited about this.
All right, so we can talk about this. I have a big slideshow of like a bunch of it. It's not all of it, but it's a lot of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and reminder, you can get this with a virtual ticket. All right, go.
All right, so the sale started on October 12th. And there are 72 items on sale, and you can access this if you buy the virtual ticket or in person if you have a ticket for BlizzCon. Also, historically, more items are likely added the week of BlizzCon, and we've seen some teasers like someone at Blizzard hugging a yellow Murloc, so probably some more stuff's coming.
Yeah.
When you spend over $100, you can get a Murchie the Murloc pin. The collector's edition code, I believe, works, but can't be combined to get that pin. So if you bought the collector's edition box, there was like, a Hearthstone code and a Heroes code and a Blizzard merchandise code, so that should work. And there are tons of new items which we're seeing on the slideshow, including new plushies like the Azure Whelpling and the Snowfang Frostwolf, super fluffy, a Death Knight robe in addition to the Murloc robe, Cute But Deadly vinyls. There's a series of 12, and it's different from last year in that this year there's an equal chance of getting any of the 12, and last year there were like 3 super rare ones. There's a 25th anniversary backpack, and there are Season 3 pins that the gold ones have more details than past years, as well as a Cute But Deadly Sylvanas and Illidan. And this amazing Hearthstone plaid jacket, which is like what Ben Brode likes to wear on stream. So I think that's pretty cool how there's a plaid shirt now.
I want it so bad. There's a bunch of things I want. I have a bunch of stuff coming. I'm going to do like a big haul video when I get it all.
I got the, so if you saw the show last year, you saw us wearing those shrugs. And I went ahead and just ordered the gray and black shrug as well as some of the pins.
It is right there.
Yeah. It's very stylish. I'm excited to get it because it has lace on the sleeves, and then the W on the back is also made of lace.
Yep. Oh yeah, those shrugs are really fantastic. Yeah. They're really.
And then
nice.
I have a Ganymede plushie, and then Ninja Pepe, and so I'll have all the plushies. And yeah, there's just a ton of nice stuff. Like there's mugs, there's a Tracer leggings and jacket. The Dark Moon Fair dress we went over last week. How it's like very like flattering and detailed, especially for a skater dress, which are like traditionally, sort of like just all over pattern. Like this is very curvy. There's a Murloc robe and slippers. They make noise. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. And usually they have another round of things the day before the con. Yep. And then I want to say after Christmas, if there's any merchandise left in stock, they open it up for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is what's going on with the merchandise. I really love how they get more creative each year with the merchandise.
Same. I'm really excited for someone like, okay, so like the Frostwolf recolor, I'm really excited for him because I love my
I
little
know.
Frostwolf guy. His little ears are articulated.
He's so soft.
Cute. He's so
Yeah.
soft. And I didn't get him that year at BlizzCon. That was the year that I didn't go because I was getting married.
Right. Yeah.
And Nick got him for me like on eBay from somebody who had him at an extremely overpriced price, I'm sure, because he was like brand new in package. But so I'm really excited to get the white one because I play a shaman, so I feel like World of Warcraft wolves are important to me. Wolf things are important. So yeah, I'm really excited. That's probably the thing I'm most excited for is the wolf plushie.
Yeah, I think what I'm most excited for is the shrug, and then after that, Ganymede.
So cute. I also love that the Bastion vinyl has a Ganymede.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
I've held off buying the vinyls because, like, last time for season 2, we got sent them and we unboxed them on the show. But, you know, if they're not doing that this year, then I probably will get some and try to trade them at BlizzCon because I want the Bastion, I want the Tyrande, and the Nova's cute. But they're all really cute. Like, there's 2 of the Pharahs, and then there's, like, the Rainbow Diablo Goblin. So
I love the goblins. Yeah. Those are adorable.
Yes.
So yeah, a lot of really, really good stuff. And a lot of it is really decently priced too. I was pretty proud of myself for hitting the nail on the head at that $40 price point on the show. Yeah. I said that last week. Even the Skater dress is
like $60, which is like not bad because they're usually like $90 to $100.
Well, it's also really well made too. It's like there's like different, in my opinion, as someone who wears a lot of leggings, leggings definitely come in different tiers of quality. There's like the cheap knockoff ones that like you're gonna get a few wears out of and they're gonna get all pilly and gross, and then there's like the mid-range ones, which is where like We Love Fine ones are, which is they're good quality but they're not made to be worn on a regular basis. And then things like Wild Bangarang and Black Milk, like they can be part of your regular wardrobe and they're not going anywhere, which is what Wild Bangarang is. But the thing is, like if it's in the same quality as Black Milk and it's significantly cheaper, so like I have no complaints about it, and it's such a nice dress. That's what Perk and I are both wearing today. It's such a nice dress.
Yeah, it's versatile. It goes in different colors.
Fits different sized people.
Yep.
We both like it a lot. I was really excited about it last year. And this was actually designed by Noxie. So if you guys are familiar with her art, she does a lot of World of Warcraft art. She designed this, and I know she was really excited because it's like the first thing she's ever designed that, you know, was licensed to a company in this way. Like, you know, and then BlizzCon sale. I was excited for it. That's all. That must feel really great.
I think there's also 2 more dresses that are coming. Maybe they'll be part of the sale. The week of, but they did tease me stuff like, oh, you know, like obviously it was public, but they're like, oh, like don't tell anyone, like, you know, we have a few more things on the way. So, yeah, I'm very excited.
I'm excited. Also, the BlizzCon party, the Wowhead BlizzCon party.
Yeah.
I'm so
We
excited.
keep having, like, you know, we're in full planning mode. It's going to be intense doing the party planning as well as, like, patch 7.1. But, you know, we
like,
keep
when
having...
it rains, it pours.
I know. We keep, like, locking stuff into place. So, we have Origin PC as a sponsor for our gaming lounge now. Method is going to be working with Jinx. They're going to be bringing, you can meet and greet some of them, and they're actually giving away a VIP pass and a $100 Jinx gift certificate and a signed jersey, and that giveaway, I believe, is starting today. If not today, it will be up on our post tomorrow, so definitely enter that. Super nice. They organized that for us. And I'm currently nailing down some Jinx prizes, and Jinx I have a meeting with, they're going to, some awesome stuff. Yeah. And I have a meeting with Blizzard on Tuesday to nail down prizes with them, because last year we had like a claw machine filled with plushies, and we had like pins, and we had like, we were the first place you could get the Cupid Deadly vinyls from, and a lot of super cool things. It was the best. I'm very excited about how all of this is coming together. And just as a reminder, it takes place the day before BlizzCon. It is free. You do not need to be attending BlizzCon in order to go to it. Nope. You know, just be in the area. It is at the Hilton. We have a larger check-in setup than last year. The party is from 6 to 10, and then when we hit that magic hour of noise complaints, we have an after party, like a floor down.
Like rappers, guys. So, we're like rappers.
I know. We totally are.
I'm so excited. So the party from 6 to 10 will actually be streamed, just about the whole thing. Yeah. And I think, if I'm understanding correctly, there's going to be some sort of like almost red carpety type area for the VIPs. Yeah. And the stream will show all of them walking in, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, and Jinx is going to be, bringing some more of their ambassadors to, meet and greet and be around at specific times. So,
Yep.
if someone wants to sign like autographs or take their picture, like they'll be making sure that, there'll be some familiar faces. So
I'm
yeah,
super
and
excited too because I think on stream I'm going to be interviewing like the owner and president of
that would be
Jinx.
very
And
cool.
I think
Yeah,
that's such a cool person to be able to interview because like what a
yeah,
brand he has built.
I
What
know.
like half of my wardrobe is Jinx. I'm not.
Yeah, next week we should talk about. I'm setting up a giveaway to talk about the new round of Jinx merchandise, like the
Yep.
Pepe shirt. Like, oh my God, it's
Yes.
so cute.
Oh, by the way, confirmed that will be in women's sizes.
Oh, awesome! Because I was going
You
to buy
just
it, but I was
dropped your
sad.
Pepe.
No,
Oh my
I'm sorry, Pepe. But no, I was going to buy it, but I was sad that it wasn't
No,
in a woman's size.
it
But
is
now it
going to be.
is.
And I
Okay.
asked. I specifically
Okay.
was like, well, should I get this in men's or are you doing it? And he was like, the women's sizes are not out yet, but they will be. Also, if I
Okay.
wasn't supposed to tell anybody that, I'm sorry, Jinx. But yeah, I'm super
It's so,
because that's
like
it's
it's all
so
like it makes
cute.
sense. Like Pepe is in the shirt. It's like a Pepe surrounded by his hats, and
It's
he has
almost
a
like
hat business.
steampunky or like
Yeah, it's very
antique
fashion.
looking.
Like it's
It's
like you
really
need,
cute.
yeah, like you need like a woman's size
Yeah,
in
I was
style.
shocked it wasn't in. Like I literally emailed him and was like, "Why isn't this in women's size?" He's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
it will be." I'm like, "Perfect."
yeah.
But there's a lot of new cool stuff coming out. Obviously, anytime there's a big Blizzard event, there's going to be new stuff because it's not just WoW stuff. There's like new Heroes of the Storm stuff. There's I know there's a bunch of new Heroes of the Storm stuff, and I feel like there's stuff for Overwatch. Oh
There's
yeah, there is Overwatch stuff
there's
too.
there's like a ton of Overwatch. Like I think WoW and Overwatch have the most new merchandise, which is interesting because we were just commenting how, like how stage space went. Overwatch had a huge stage and WoW was kind of small, but it seems like like the loyal fans or the merchandise perspective, WoW is getting a ton of the new
To be
merchandise.
fair, I feel like the reasoning for that though is that there's probably going to be a bigger Overwatch announcement than there is a WoW announcement. I mean, we're in a place in WoW. They're not going to announce an expansion.
Right.
Like, and
Yeah.
even like 7.2,
Yeah.
we know enough about what's going on with Nighthold that nothing that they're going to say is
Right.
going to be like earth
Well,
shattering.
who
I mean,
knows? They
I hope
could be
I'm
like,
wrong.
I don't know.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel like likely you can look at those and be like, okay, you can base
Right.
the announcements on the booths. Although I hope I'm wrong and I hope Diablo has a huge announcement and they're like, but it's not playable. That's fine.
Right. It'd be like the Gamescom announcement for Legion, where they're just like the name. That's it. Yes.
Legion. So yeah, I'm super super excited for the party. I will be doing both the stage and stream hosting this year, and it's going to be a little different than last year. Last year it was kind of like spam interviews. This year it's going to be a mix of like stage presence and ambiance of the party as well as interviews here and there. But it should feel more like you're an attendee of the party and not just like watching a stream that happens to be taking place at a party.
Right. And I think that's really cool how like Jinx is going to be bringing some people over at different times because like you'll have a steady stream of people, just to like wave over an interview at different points.
Absolutely. I'm really excited. It should be really great this year.
Yeah.
And I think that moving the party and having it go longer in a different venue is like a really great. I just feel like we're
I love
Blizzard
the
right now.
after
We've
party.
taken bits and pieces from the parties
Yes.
over the years and just combined them into
Yes.
one mega party. So let them simmer. So I feel like it's going to be a really great time, and I think it should be a good time for people at home as well. So very exciting.
Yep.
Yay. What else? Merchandise stuff.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking over the questions I got in. Yeah, so you can talk about merch and I'll just look at the questions.
Sure. So obviously we still have our code going on through the Blizzard Gear Shop. It's code WowheadOct, and you'll get 15% off all of the fall clearance sale items in the Blizzard Gear Shop, which, reminder, some of these items are very expensive normally, so you're getting a discount because they're on sale, and then an additional discount through Wowhead, so you can get those robes. I think like the older style robes, the Priest one and the Warlock one, and there's another one.
Bloodfang.
Yeah, the Bloodfang one. Those are all gonna be down to like I want to say they're like $60 or something like that after the discount.
Yeah,
and
they were pretty expensive. Like they're lined, they're super detailed.
Yeah, they're really really nice. So that is good through the end of October, and then we also have a code through Jinx that is code Wowhead Rules. RULZ. We don't pick the names. Oh
God, what if they like show up at the party and they're like, "Wowhead rules!" and like,
Wowhead
they're on the
Rules.
screen. Like the guy, like the president Jinx is gonna be like, "Panzer, like we have to say Wowhead rules together."
I'll do it. That's fine. I'll do it. Lord knows I've lost my shame a long time ago. But yeah, so this code will work during the entire month of October. If you buy 3 Warcraft shirts, you will get a Warcraft shirt for free, which, like we said, they just introduced a whole bunch of new stuff, and that is in addition to all of the new Legion stuff stuff. So there's a lot of stuff to choose from right now, and that also covers Warcraft movie stuff too. That's in the same group of stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in either of those codes are always going to be on Wowhead, easy to find, or feel free to ask me or Perk. But again, Wowhead Rolls or Wowhead Oct. There you go. How about questions, Perk?
All right. So, a few easy ones. One is the Hollow's End guide for this year, ready to go live. It's not done yet because it's launching on Tuesday, so we'll probably get to it over the weekend. Someone is asking when Trial of Valor will be opened, and
November
it
8th.
is coming. It is coming November 8th. It's not the same day as Karazhan. It would be too stressful if, like, all the high-end raiders and developers were at BlizzCon, but also trying to raid and do hot fixes and raid tuning at the same time.
Thank you so much.
And I think that goes into the whole yay. It goes into the whole like stagger content idea.
Yeah. For sure.
So yeah, then someone is asking that they don't see the pins of us on the store. Where we'll be able to get them?
You'll find out soon.
Yep, and if you don't know, these are our pins. They're very cool. So I think I will go over that when I meet with Blizzard on Tuesday, actually. So hopefully more details soon. But that's really awesome that people are excited to go and get them.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of people ask as well, like, oh, can I buy them? And I hope that there's some way that we'll be able to have extras for either giveaways or people to purchase that can't go to the con, because the amount of questions I've gotten about that are over 9,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there will be, because when Blizzard approached me about it, they were saying that, hey, like, if we're doing pins for Wowhead, like, you know, like, can you guys not do your own other set of Wowhead pins? And I'm like, sure, but, you know, we'd like to we'd like to have extras to give away. And they're like, oh, yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
Also, thank you so much for subscribing. And if you guys were wondering, the avatars that you see on the screen and the artist who did the pins, same person. She is Jinxie on DeviantArt or Tumblr or Facebook. That's JIINXI. So 2 I's in the beginning, 1 I at the end. And she's amazing. So if you want to check out her art, she's wonderful.
This was an interesting one, which we kind of talked about at the start, but not everyone was there. It was with 7.1 dropping in just 2 weeks. Do you think that's too soon? And do you think we'll have another content drought if this fast-paced release structure happens again? Which I think they're alluding to how, like, in Mist, we had that really cool patch in November after it launched in September, and then we had, Siege of Orgrimmar for a year.
Yeah, well, even in Warlords, that same thing happened.
Yep.
It was like, hi, Ma, Blackrock Foundry, nothing.
I mean, I think that Blizzard, I think they're both smarter, and they also have the tech to back up what they want to do, using that PvP achievement as an example, how they're not actually having to make new world quests, but they can create an achievement for doing the world quest a lot of times and give you a mount.
Yeah,
so,
hell
and
yeah.
I think they're just staggering.
I'll do the thing for the mount, for sure. If
Yeah,
there's a mount involved, I'll do it.
Yeah. So I think the idea, they also said in a past Q&A that they wanted to move away from the idea that a patch with a new number had to be, like, a massive thing with, like, a raid and, like, bunches of new quests to do, that they wanted to have more patches in the style of, like, introducing time walking, or, like, the time walking reward, or the Draenor Pathfinder achievement, things that didn't give you, like, 100 things to do at once and then nothing for a year, but stuff that was more spread out. So
Absolutely.
I think that, we'll see how Blizzard does with this. I do think that I don't think they want 7.1 to be seen as this huge patch, because we're just getting Karazhan, basically.
And then just 2 weeks later, just another new raid.
Right. I mean, like,
just the quest leading up to Kara.
I'm still a little iffy on that, but they did say that Trial of Valor, the eye levels are just 5 items level higher than the past raid, so it's not going to be, like, it's not going to be Foundry erasing Highball.
That's perfect. That's how it should be. I feel like the difference between each raid tier should only be 5 or 10 eye levels, so that it actually incentivizes doing more than one raid at a time.
Right.
Like, I
also
don't know.
feel the one thing I'll be interesting to see is how they handle artifact power and knowledge, power, traits, whatever, after a certain point, because that's a new system in play, as well as world quests that we haven't had in these past expansions. So it's like, could a void be filled if there was, like, okay, this patch is all about doing something really neat with your artifact?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But that is something I was concerned about, because, I'm like, whoa, this is still very soon. Like, this is different. So yeah, good question. Someone else was asking, can we use our collector's edition 25% code in person at BlizzCon? I'm actually not sure if you can. It's something to ask the licensing team. I know that when you bought a plushie last year at BlizzCon, the reverse was true. They would give you a pet code, and you can use that in the future to buy pets online. And, like, you actually had a piece of paper, like, it was legitimate. So, I don't know, you could try bringing a piece of paper and being like, hey, this is my code, can I get stuff off, and see what they say. Is Karazhan a mythic-only dungeon, or is it normal and heroic as well? It's just mythic, and I believe it's, like, no keystone mythic. So it's just run it, you have nostalgia, and then that's it.
Well, I think it's a little harder than a typical mythic, too. Like,
no, I agree. Like, it's also longer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
I think that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what a good show this. I mean, I know it started out a little rocky, but we all braced ourselves and we made it through the storm. So, yeah, thank you so much to everybody who came and watched us today, all of the new subscribers, all of the old subscribers too, and even people who just follow us that they get email updates, they know when we go live. As a reminder, we stream Wowhead Weekly here at twitch.tv/Wowhead every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we upload the VOD over to YouTube at youtube.com/Wowhead. Thank you to everybody who subscribes to us and watches our videos there. We really appreciate it. And most of all, I want to extend a big thank you to all of the players out there who are subscribed to Wowhead Premium, which is a monthly premium service, and all the money goes directly to support Wowhead. It removes all of the ads from your site, both mobile and desktop, as long as you're signed in. You get a special color when you talk in the comments. You can track quests. You can organize your today on the Broken Isles. All sorts of cool stuff. But the best part is that it directly supports us and it removes ads, because everybody hates ads. That's the thing. So yeah, we are going to go. We will be back next week with Wowhead Weekly number 99.
I know. So close to 100.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So we will be back next week, and same Wowhead time, same Wowhead channel.
Yep.
I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.